two of the reasons that the 1832 cholera outbreak really took hold in the Black Country were the lack of effective sanitation in the region and the conditions people were living in. By sanitation, I mean access to clean drinking water and safe ways to dispose of waste. Things we take for granted today, like hot and cold running water in our homes and toilets that flush our waste away. Well, these simply weren't a part of Black Country people's daily lives in the 1830s. A water supply generally wasn't included for tenants, so they had to request it from their landlords, who would charge them extra on top of what the water company charged them. So many would instead collect their water from communal pumps or wells, often carrying it for long distances. Much of this water would have been drawn from sources like Bilston Brook, which the historian George Barnsby described as the receptacle for all the filth of the town. There are accounts that communal pumps were often located next to surface drains, meaning that the water was contaminated. The disposal of waste was a massive problem. There was a lack of a functioning sewer or drainage network in the Black Country. In 1852, only 1 mile of the 36 miles of streets in Dudley was covered by a public sewer. This meant that most waste flowed along the surface of streets and would freeze over in the wintertime. There's also the fact that many people had to use ash pit privies, a very basic type of outdoor toilet that was widespread in industrial areas. These were smelly and difficult to empty, which meant that they rarely were, and even then, there weren't many of them. One account of Dudley states that there were more pigsties than privies in the town. So we had a lack of clean water, no safe ways of disposing waste, and smelly and filthy overflowing toilets. So far, perfect conditions for a cholera outbreak. Add to this the fact that people were often living in cramped and dirty conditions. The 1832 outbreak becomes tragically inevitable. People lived in very close proximity to each other. Imagine 8 members of a family crammed into a tiny back-to-back house, sharing small rooms with little to no fresh air. A scientific understanding of how cholera spread increased, and officials began to take greater responsibility for the health and well-being of citizens. Improvements were gradually made across the Black Country. Flushing toilets and clean water flowing from our taps might seem like basic necessities today, but the 1832 Black Country cholera outbreak highlights just how important and life-saving these things truly are.